everyone. This is Stacy Kellums, and I want to welcome you to this week's training session. I've got another fantastic training session lined up for you, as all of them are, but let me tell you, this training session is extra special to me. Today's VIP closed-door session is going to be with my good friend Mike Warren. Let me tell you, this is going to be a very, very, very special training call. I'm excited that you're here to be on this call and getting a chance to meet Mike, because Mike and I have known each other for quite some time. In fact, we were just hanging out and having dinner together here in Austin, Texas, a month or so ago. We were both at a seminar here in town. We had dinner together, and when Mike told me what he was doing, I was like, Mike, you got to share these strategies with my people. You just got to. So I twisted his arm. I got him off of vacation. If you know anything about Mike, you know he's always on vacation. Like, man, come on, you got to get on the call. You got to share these strategies. I know it's much more fun to be down by the beach with the family, but you got to help my people out. So count your blessings that you are on the call today. And before I go any further, I want to just welcome you to today's training session. I want to remind you to grab a pen and a piece of paper right now, because you're going to be learning some information that you have never, ever, ever heard before. And I know that you probably hear me say that week after week, but that's because I only put people in front of you who are teaching new strategies. Things have changed. We all know this. The strategies that worked a few years ago don't work today, okay? And I'm committed to only bringing you people who are using cutting-edge strategies that are working right now in today's market, okay? There's no fluff or any of that stuff. So get your pen and your paper ready, because you're in for a real treat. Mike is going to be sharing some incredible knowledge with you over the next 80 minutes or so. Mike's going to reveal something to all of you that he's never done before about how you can gain a competitive advantage by making money from the debts that are attached to a property without having to buy the house or the commercial property, okay? So in case that went over your head, or in case you just joined us, basically Mike's going to teach you how to make money with real estate without actually buying the real estate, okay? It doesn't get much better than that, and that's why I wanted him on today's training session, to show with you exactly what he's doing, because you don't need any of your own money or credit to get started doing what Mike is doing, and he's going to explain it step by step. So, and it looks like I see that Mike just joined the call. Mike, are you there, man?
Yeah. Hey, Stacy, I'm here, and let me say hi to everybody else as well. And, you know, Stacy, I'm very excited about being on this call, and I'm really, really looking forward to helping everyone that's with us today make money from property that they never have to buy, sell, or rent, whether it's residential or commercial, doesn't matter. And, in fact, you know what, Stacy, if it's cool with you, I'm going to give a select few people over $8,000 in free education at the end of the call. So I'd really like to encourage everyone to stay all the way to the end. Is that cool with you?
No, man. We can't be giving away $8,000 for this stuff. Nobody's interested in anything like that.
Well, I'll take it back then, no problem.
I'm kidding. I didn't even know, guys. I didn't even know Mike was going to do that. So absolutely, man. That's a welcome gift. I had no idea you were going to do that. So thank you so much. But hey, Mike, if you don't mind, you mind me telling them a little bit more about you? I know you're. Might make you blush a little bit to hear all the cool stuff that you've done over the last 2 decades. But Mike's
Sure.
been a real estate investor for over 2 decades, okay? You think you might be able to learn a thing or two about how to make money in real estate from somebody who's been doing it for over 20 years. Now, let me put that in perspective. That means that if Mike's been doing this for over 2 decades, that means that this is Mike's second bear market. This is the second downturn in real estate that Mike's been investing through. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes, it is. I've been through the thick and thin, and you know what? It's worked in every type of market, and it's still working, and it's going gangbusters today.
Yeah, you know, that's what I really love about. I really try to put people in front of my listeners, Mike, who haven't, just hit the scene a couple years ago and, only know a couple different ways to make money in real estate. You got started in the mid-'80s, so you saw you got in on the tail end of the boom and the later bust during the mid-'90s, and you made it through all of that, and then you saw the boom and the bust that we're currently experiencing. So, man, I love picking the brains of guys like you who've been through it all, who've seen it all, and you are still standing. You come out the other side. Not only are you still standing, but you're making more money than ever before. And that's awesome, man.
You're absolutely right, Stacy. I've made more money in the past several years than I have in the previous 15 before that I was doing. And because this market, it's so different than what we had in the past. When I started, we had the RTC days, right? The Resolution Trust Corporation.
Right. Yeah, I remember those. That's right when I first got started. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you know what it was like then. It was a bonanza, and today it's like 20 times larger than that. So the opportunity's here. But you know what? I don't have to go out and buy houses. I can deal with the debts that are attached to these houses, whether it's residential or commercial property, and I can make money from deals that somebody else is buying. And it's a twist that everybody's like, oh my gosh, I never heard of that. And it's so simple. And you know what? It is simple, and there's a process that you have to follow, of course, but it works. And it takes away all the risk. And because there's some people, that like to buy houses, they like to buy commercial, and there's some people that say, gosh, I want to make money from real estate, but I really don't want to buy anything. Well, this fits anybody in any of those categories and says, gosh, if you just want to make money from the comfort of your own home and you're in Australia vacationing, or if you have anybody on your, that's any of your subscribers that are listening with us from Australia, it works there too. So it works great.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I can't wait for you to get in. I know you've got lots of great stuff to cover. Again, if you're just joining us, I can tell that a lot of people are just joining us. Today I've got Mike Warren on today's training session, and you are definitely going to want to grab a pen and a paper and take some serious notes. I've got my pen and paper ready, as always, and you also shut out the distractions that are around you. Get someplace where you can really focus in for the next 60 minutes or so, because, like I said, whenever you have the opportunity to pick the brain of a guy like Mike, who's been in this business for over 2 decades, and a guy who makes more money today than he's ever made before. He's been through 2 booms and through 2 busts. He's making more money than ever. He vacations more than he works. Whenever you get the opportunity to pick the brain of a guy like this and to basically sit at his feet and learn from him, you've got to take it. So get your pen and paper ready right now. He's going to be sharing some amazing strategies with you, some super smart strategies. One of the things I didn't tell you about Mike, in addition to everything else about the guy, he also holds his MBA. So, I mean, Mike is a super, super sharp guy. Like I said, in case you didn't hear me a while ago, Mike was in Austin a few weeks ago. We were having dinner. And when he showed me what he was doing, it was absolutely amazing. I said, Mike, you got to show my people this stuff. So he reluctantly agreed to come in from vacation just to share this information with you today. So get ready. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And the topic of today's call is Mike is going to be showing you how to make gobs of money with his judgment and lien money machine. And he's absolutely perfected the art of optioning the debt that is attached to property, and he's completely figured out how to eliminate any and all risk whatsoever, and he can literally show you how to put tons of cash into your pocket without ever buying or having to sell the property at all. You're not going to need any of your own money. You don't need any of your own credit, and you are literally going to explode your bank account with none of your own money, none of your own credit, and without hardly any risk. So, Mike, I'm super happy to have you here today. Is there anything else you would like to say before we get started?
Actually, I'm really excited about getting going, so I got it. I will tell everybody this: grab a pen and paper, take tons of notes, because I go kind of fast. But part of what I do is I do this different, I think, than anybody else that's out there. I actually give you content that you can use right away. So this is an educational thing. You're going to love it, and it's stuff that you can put in an application literally tonight when you get off the call. So it really does work.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait, and I know you've got a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and I'll let you take it away, man.
First thing I want to do is tell you how I actually got started in this business. I mentioned I got started in 1985, and I got started when I actually lent somebody some money. They didn't pay me. I took them to court. I got a judgment. I didn't know how to collect on the judgment. If you imagine these court shows, you got Judge Brown, Judge Judy, the old people's court. You got all these different court shows, right? So I went in and I took somebody to court. I got a judgment, but I didn't have anybody to help me tell me what to do. And the lady that I took to court, she wouldn't pay me, and so I'm left with this judgment. And I went around trying to figure out, well, how do I get paid? Ultimately, I ended up hiring an attorney. He charged me a lot of money to collect on the judgment, but what I figured out from that whole experience is I realized that I could have done exactly what that attorney did, and I didn't need to have a license. And that's one thing here, guys. You don't need any licensing in order to do this. It works in all 50 states, and it works in Canada, and it works great in both countries. And so I learned that, you know what, I could have done what he did, and so I actually started in the business, and I started making money from judgments. And I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of good techniques of how you can make money with judgments. While everybody's out there trying to focus on all these foreclosures and they're looking at all these different things, you know what, I'll sit back quietly. I'll work on the debts that are attached to property. I gain control of those debts. I let everybody, all these other investors, go out there and buy these properties and flip these deals, because guess what? When they have to give clear title to their new buyer, they end up paying me off, and they're going to end up paying you off if you follow what I'm about to teach you. Let me give you just a little bit more background about me. And this is a picture of me. That's I'm the old guy, of course. And this is my son Bryce, and this cutie pie over here, this is my daughter Holly, and that's her there as well. And you know what I like about being in the business I'm in, guys, is that I get to spend a lot of time with the two kids in my life who are really important to me, and this is my son Bryce and my daughter Holly. And you know, I get to go on father-son trips and daddy-daughter trips, and I get to go just one-on-one with them, because the time that they are at in their life right now, guess what? This will never occur again, and I need to spend time with my kids because I want to have the opportunity later. I don't want to be one of those parents that you know, when I'm 60 or 70 years old, say, boy, I wish I'd spent more time with my kids. So I spend time with them now, and I'm fortunate enough that I have the revenue coming in from the techniques that I'm about to teach you. I have the revenue coming in that allows me to do that. And this limo that you see down here, and this is actually me taking my daughter to what's called a father-daughter dance. And I've been doing that since my daughter was 4 years old, because you know what? My belief is this. I need to teach my daughter how a man should treat a woman, because I want her to grow up and understand how men should really treat women, so that she doesn't get taken advantage of, and that she grows up with a good head on her shoulders. And, of course, my son as well, he's in the Boy Scouts, and we do all sorts of things like that. So I can spend a lot of time with my kids, and that's what's important to me. That's my why of why I do things. And, you know, some of you may have a different reason as to what your why is. You know, why do you go out and work so much? Why do you go and look for deals? Why are you trying to make extra money besides just paying the bills? There's some other underlying reason. And for me, my why is my kids. And so I like to talk about them a lot. The other thing that I want to share with you is I'm a firm believer in education. Education is a critical component to my success, and I think it will also be a critical component to your success. And what you're looking at here, this is actually a picture of one of my 3 libraries. I've got 3 libraries that look like this. They're just stacked, you know, wall to wall here with courses. So I'm out there. I'm like the ultimate seminar junkie. I buy everybody's course. Now, you might say, well, Mike, why do you buy everybody's course? And I buy them because I'm looking for different ways or different techniques or strategies or just ideas of how I can make my business grow bigger, better, faster, and in some way, you know, improve what I'm doing. And you know what? I always find some little tidbit of information in every one of those courses that makes it very worthwhile. And guys, I spent over $300,000 on all of the different courses, and I go to boot camps, and so I continually further my education as well, just like you are, and you're all here right now furthering your education, because you know what? Education is one of those things that no one can ever take away from you. No matter what, it lasts you for the rest of your life. So always, further your education. I know that you're doing that right now simply by being on this call. And this kind of education is different than going to college. This actually has real-world applications. You know, I went to college, and I actually have a double MBA. I got an MBA in finance and one in real estate. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that I was successful. It didn't mean that I got hired and got a job. I was actually going to school while I was doing what I'm about to teach you. So I put myself through graduate school at a private school and through undergrad while I'm doing the techniques I'm about to share with you. So let's kind of go ahead and just jump right into this thing. Let's talk about a couple things. First thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about 2 definitions, okay? So I need you all to write these down. These are very important. This is going to be the focus of what we're going to talk about for the rest of the day. First thing I want to do is I want to talk about what a judgment is. A judgment is nothing more than a legal document stating that a debt is owed from one party in a lawsuit to another. meaning that remember I said when I got first started, I took this lady to court. Her name was Melinda, by the way. And when I took Melinda to court, I got a judgment against her. Now, it didn't mean that I got any money out of it, and that, by the way, is what happens with 85% or more of all the judgments that are out there is no one ever gets paid. They just sit there. And I'm going to show you how to tap into this hidden, literally, I'll show you just how big it is here in just a minute, but it's a massive market that nobody knows about. It's sitting right there in front of all of us. So that's what a judgment is. We're going to talk about something also that's called a judgment lien. Now, I need you to write this down. A lien is a concrete legal assertion that you have a claim of specific value against certain property. Let's say that you go down to the bank and you want to borrow money to buy a car. And you borrow the money to buy the car. Do you think the bank will place a lien on that car so that you cannot sell or refinance that car without paying off the bank? Do you think that's possible? Or do you think that's going to happen? And the answer is absolutely yes. They have a lien. But we also have something that's called a judgment lien. Now, judgment lien is where we take the judgment. In other words, let's go back to the judgment I had against Melinda. We take the judgment I have against Melinda. I walk it over to land records. Now, land records is where they record mortgages, easements, water, sewer liens, tax liens, and they record judgments. Now, recording that judgment in land records, it does a couple very powerful things for you. It now places a lien on Melinda's house. She cannot sell or refinance that house without paying me off. Now I've got real collateral here. Now it's just a waiting game. And it also will also go on Melinda's credit report, which is another benefit. So if she tries to go out and borrow money somewhere from somebody else, or somebody's pulling her credit for something, they're going to see that my judgment is there, and she may get turned down for something unless she pays me off. So I have extra incentive. Not only do I have collateral, but I have incentive from Melinda that she wants to get rid of that debt as quickly as she can. So we're going to be talking about judgment liens specifically today. Now, I may say the word judgment, but when I say judgment, I'm really referring to a judgment lien, something that is attached to property. In our case, I'm only interested, and I hope that you all will follow what I'm teaching you, in that you are only interested in judgments that are attached to real property, houses, commercial buildings, raw land, mobile homes with a lot, those kind of things. And by the way, what I'm talking about here, this works on residential and it works on commercial. So we'll talk about those in a little bit more. But let's take a look at some reasons on why judgments are created. We have unpaid promissory notes, medical, dental bills, automobile accidents, rent and damages, contractors have not been paid, unpaid legal services, property damage, unfinished car leases. Guys, this list could literally go on and on and on and on like a broken record, because you know what? You could think of any reason of why you might want to go to court, and guess what? All you got to do is watch these court shows, and everybody is suing everybody at the drop of a hat. We've been sort of brought up in this mindset that if somebody does something wrong to us, what's the first words out of our mouth? Well, I'm going to sue. And you know what? That's what everybody does. And that actually leads me into this. Let's talk about what the market size is of judgments. Look at this. It is a $2 trillion industry. That's with a T there, not a V. A $2 trillion industry with an average of 350,000 judgments in each and every courthouse in every county in the United States. And there's about 3,300 counties. There's approximately 50,000 new judgments that are created each and every year in every one of those courthouses, and that equates to a $75 billion a year business in new business loans. That's not even talking about old stuff. That's talking about just brand new every year and new business of judgments is sitting there with 85%. Let me write this down here. By the way, my handwriting is not the neatest because I'm actually writing with the mouse, but it's about 85% or more of all the judgments that exist remain unpaid or unsatisfied. That's our opportunity. That's where we get a profit here. And I'm going to show you how we profit from these judgments without putting up any cash. We're only going to put up, well, any cash would be, we don't put up more than $1. Okay, that's all we're going to do. On these deals, we're going to put up $1, and how we can get paid off these judgments when they're attached to property. I'm going to show you how this actually works. You're absolutely going to love this. Let's take a look at a couple of counties, though. Let's take a look at Cook County, which is in Chicago, Illinois, and Orange County, which is in California. I went out to Cook County in Chicago, and I went up to I went down to downtown to the courthouse building. I walked into the building, and I went up to the 6th floor, which is where the judgment record room is. And I walk into this room, and guys, imagine these bookcases that went from wall to wall, floor to the ceiling. It was the entire floor. That was their judgment record room. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these judgments in this one room. And I'm thinking this has got to be years and years and years worth of stuff here. And so I talked to the court clerks, and I asked the court clerks that were there, I said, well, how many judgments do you have here in this one room? And a couple of them got together, they talked about it, and they came back and they said, Mike, in this one room right now, we have between 4 and 5 million judgments. I was like, well, that explains the wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling thing. I'm like, well, how many years does that go back? And they said, oh, this is probably just 2 or 3 years. I'm like, 2 or 3 years? I mean, how many do you have going back, 10 years? And they wouldn't even hazard a guess other than to simply do the math, and it just comes out as being this mind-boggling number. Well, I asked the same question in Orange County, California. They came back and they told me between 3 and 4 million judgments. And look at that. If you look at this, we're upwards of 9 million judgments in just 2 counties out of 3,300 counties in the United States. And you know what the best part is? Most of this stuff can be found online. That's one of the things I like a lot, so that I can just sit back. I let my fingers do the walking on my keyboard and do some research on the Internet, and you all have Internet access because you're here. Right? You found out about this training call. You got on the call. You're watching this live, or you listen on the phone. But one way or the other, you have Internet access, which means you can do this business. Now, you could do it manually. You could go down to the courthouse. You could simply do it by mail. But you know what? I like to do it, and most of my successful students, they also like to do it simply online. They simply find those deals online, and they make money. So let's talk about how you make money. Let me give you what I call my 2 secrets to success, okay? The first one is what I call the option method. We're going to be talking about that, so I want you all to write that down, the option method. The second technique is called outsourcing, meaning that you just give it to somebody else, let them do the work, yet you still make a good chunk of change without hardly having to do any of the work, and I think most of you will kind of like that one as well. So we're going to talk about just these 2 simple secrets. We're going to keep it nice and simple here. So let's go in and talk about the first one. When we're dealing with options, options work on all different types of debt. So we could option a mortgage, we could option a house, we could option a judgment, we could option the right to buy a car, we could option the right to buy a lot. In our case, we're going to be optioning a particular judgment. By working with options, we remove all of our financial risk, and it works on residential, commercial, and it's perfect also for short sales, for some of you that are also doing short sales. Now, let me explain what an option is. An option works like this. It says that I reserve the right to buy something for a specific price. It doesn't say that I have to buy it. What it does, though, is it locks in the seller and says the seller has to sell it to me at a specific price. So what it ultimately does is it reserves me the right to buy some asset at a specific price at some point in the future. That's all it does, but I have no obligation. And what that means is that I can walk away anytime I want. I have no financial liability. I have no legal liability because I can walk away if I walk outside today and I see that, oh, wait, there's a cloud in the wrong shape in the sky today. You know what? That's a bad omen. I'm not going to do this option. I can walk away for that reason. And it doesn't matter because that's the whole power of the option is I have complete control. When you all use options, you are 100% in control of the deal, and you've maximized your upside, and you have totally eliminated your downside. So let me go through and give you an example. So let's talk about, now this could work either on a residential or a commercial property, okay? So it doesn't matter. For those, some of you that are thinking about commercial deals, guess what? I love commercial property. The difference when I'm working with commercial property is I usually add a 0 onto my profit. That's all it is when I'm dealing with commercial. When I'm dealing with residential, the numbers are sometimes a little bit small, but that's okay. But I can work on residential, commercial property. It could be short sales. It could be a foreclosure deal. It could be raw land. It doesn't matter. So let me go through it and give you an example. So here's a property, has a fair market value of $325,000. All right, decent-sized property in America today, residential house. Turns out, debt on the property for $265,000. So there's a little bit of equity. Now these people are trying to sell their house. Now that's one thing I want to point out is that this is a property that's for sale. I also want to point something else out, and I want you to write this down. I also want you to look for properties that are not only for sale, but are under contract. So think about this. If the property is under contract, that means that they already have a buyer. It doesn't mean me. I'm not the buyer of the property. I don't want to buy the property because I have no idea where the property's at. I'm not going to live in it. I'm not going to rent it. So therefore, I don't want to ever have to buy this property. So I'm only looking for properties that somebody else has already agreed to buy. So think about that. If somebody has already agreed to buy it, and if you remember earlier when I talked about placing a lien on somebody's house, meaning that the seller cannot sell or refinance that house without paying me off. So if I find a judgment on a house that's currently under contract, when they go to sell that house, are they going to have to pay me off? What's the answer? And the answer is yes. They're going to have to absolutely pay me off in order to get clear title to the new buyer, which means I get paid on a house that I don't own and that I never have to buy. So let's finish up this example. Let me kind of go through and give you some numbers to go with it. So this property, debt $265, and it turns out there's a lien, a judgment lien for $6,500. Now, what I do is I'll go out and I'll buy this thing, let's say at $2,400. That's 37% of its value. Now, I actually, in a lot of cases, guys, in today's market, I'm actually buying them in the 5 to 10%. That's normally where we're buying them at today, 5 to 10%. But let's say we go right here and at this point, 37%. I actually, in most cases, folks, will never go any higher, though, than 40%. Because, you know, there's no reason to do that. The people, they want cash. They want it now. And this person, the person that owns the judgment, has no idea the property's even for sale. I come in, I step in because I have specific knowledge, and that's what you're getting right now. I have specific knowledge. I find the lien holder. I negotiate to buy the lien to give them cash, but I need to verify that this judgment's still good, so they give me time to do it. In this case, they would give me 120 days. That's what most of my options are for. So I would say to the creditor, the person who owns the judgment, I'd say, Mr. Creditor, here's what I'd like to do. I'll agree to buy this judgment, the $6,500 judgment from you. I'll agree to buy it from you for $2,400 sometime between now and the next 120 days. But I need to verify that it's a good judgment. Will you give me time to verify? What do you think every creditor will say? They're all going to say, well, sure, yeah, we'll give you time to verify because they want cash. And guess what, guys? When I approach them about giving them money, do you think anyone is ever upset at me because I want to give them money? No. There's no one ever upset at me because I want to actually give them cash. So let's actually take a look and see what happened here, okay? In this deal, property sells for $300,000. Now, it doesn't sell for its full value, right? In today's market, things are a little bit lower, and that's cool. Sells for $300,000. Is my judgment, in other words, is the debt on the property plus my judgment, are those two things going to pay off out of this $300,000 sales price? And the answer is yes, there's enough equity to do it. Even if there wasn't enough equity, in order for them to clear title to the new buyer, they still got to come out of pocket in order to pay me off. Now, could they have paid me off at a discount? Sure, they could have, but there was equity here, and there was no need to take a discount at all. So the less you pay for something, the more of a discount you could take if you chose to do that. But let's finish up the numbers here. So let's take a look at what happens. Do I get paid my $2,400 here that I paid for, or do I get paid the $6,500 that it's actually owed on? What do you think I get paid? Well, the answer is I get paid the $6,500. So let's break it down. I get the $6,500 plus there's $800 in interest, and there's $100 in miscellaneous court costs. Total is $7,400. I have $2,400 invested, which means I have now a 308% return. Now, keep in mind, if this property is under contract, I'm getting paid here within about 30 to 45 days. But let's take a look at the numbers and what the profit is. My actual profit on this deal is $5,000. And you know what it cost me to do this particular technique? It cost me $1 to do this technique. So I put $1 up on my option agreement that reserved me the right, but not the obligation. It reserved me the right to buy this judgment from the creditor, the $6,500 judgment, reserved me the right to buy it for $2,400 sometime between now and the next 120 days. Well, the property, it was already for sale, or for sale, if it was under contract, it already went to closing 30 to 45 days later. Guess what? I contact the title company. I tell them I've got this judgment on the property. I want to exercise my right to buy the judgment. The title company does all the paperwork. I don't have to do any of it. They send a couple documents to me to sign a release on the judgment. The title company already has the $300,000 here, right? They've already got that cash, so they know they can pay off the judgment. The title company then cuts a check. Now, I have the title company actually cut 2 checks, so let me explain how this works. The title company is going to cut the first check to who? They're going to cut it to the creditor for the amount of money that I agreed to buy the judgment for, or $2,400. So the title company, out of the $7,400 payoff, right, out of this amount down here, they're going to cut a check to the original creditor for $2,400. Where did they get the cash? They got it out of the $7,400 payoff. What's left over? What's left over is this $5,000 up here, and where do they cut that check? They cut that check to me. Now, the title company has to do all this paperwork anyway. They're going to do it anyway. So it's no skin off their back, and it doesn't cost them any extra time or effort because they got to file all the paperwork anyway. So the title company does all the paperwork. They cut me a check for $5,000. They cut the original creditor a check for $2,400, and I just made $5,000 in profit on a house that I didn't own, that I wasn't interested in buying, and I didn't have to put up more than just one single dollar bill. One McDonald's Happy Meal, or actually a Happy Meal is more than that, so it's the dollar menu. So one item off of the dollar menu at McDonald's, I made $5,000. So the question is, do you want to do the same thing? I bet you the answer is yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mike, you want to do it. So think about all of the deals that are out there. All of these houses that are on the market right now that are currently for sale or they're under contract. I don't care if it's a single-family house. I don't care if it's a mobile home. I don't care if it's a office building, if it's a residential building, a medical building, an apartment building, a storage unit, whatever it is. Guess what? Periodically, all of these properties, they end up having liens on them. And guess what? If the lien's not on the property, I can easily attach it. It's a piece of cake. But I find all these liens, I look for them, I let somebody else buy all these properties, and yet I am laughing all the way to the bank when somebody else had to come up with $300,000 to buy this property, to do all that, and the original creditor had to pay everything off. The original debtor has to pay everything off, and yet I'm in and out of this deal, $5,000, less than 30 days, with only $1 out of my pocket. Pretty good deal, I would think. Would you all agree with that? I bet the answer is yeah. And by the way, you're more than welcome to provide feedback and things, a little question and answer box there. I'm happy to take some questions there and some feedback. Let me actually show you this. I want you to watch. I've got a little video here of a student of mine. I want you to listen to what David Kortner has to say. Let's take a listen real quick.
Concentrate the most on because this is really a moneymaker. I have a partial disability, and so I can't work for anybody for a living. So this allows me to work out of my home, and I don't necessarily have to travel. And this will eliminate a lot more of my travel than what I've been doing so far.
Now, guys, I don't know if you noticed what David was saying. David actually has a partial disability, so he can't actually go out of his house, and he can't work for anybody for a living. So what David does is he lets his fingers do the walking on his keyboard, right? He does some research online. He'll find deals. There are literally millions of properties around this country for sale at any given time. And he goes out, looks for these properties that are for sale, and he does a little bit extra research to find out if there are any judgments on the property. When he finds one, he sits back, he options it, and he sits back and waits for the title company to do all of the paperwork, and he cashes big multi-$1,000 checks. And on commercial property, you usually add another zero to that. So in the previous case that we had, while it was a $5,000 profit, probably would have been a $50,000 profit on a commercial property. So very, very powerful. And you can be just like David, where, you know what, if you have a disability or time is an issue, guess what? You can work this on your lunchtime. You can work it in the evening or the weekends, because the internet never closes. That's the best thing about it, is you can do all of this online, letting your fingers do the walking. You find these judgments, and you simply sit back and you wait for the title company to handle the whole process, do all the paperwork, and they cut you a check. And let's say that for whatever reason the deal doesn't go through, what do? You walk away. And how much money did you lose? You lost $1. That's all you lose on that deal. Now, that's not a bad deal, right, where you've minimized your downside. Your downside is $1 bill, one single dollar bill. Now, that's assuming, by the way, that you actually pay the dollar bill. Now, let me talk about that for a second. And when I typically send out my option agreement, so there's a couple of documents. There's actually 3 documents that I have to send to the creditor to tie this whole deal up. So that I send the paperwork out to the creditor, they send it back to me, and guess what happens most of the time? In my contract agreement or my option agreement, it says that I'm paying $1. And in order to make a contract valid in real estate, it must have an exchange of money, a physical exchange of money, or at least has to be noted that there is an exchange of money, because it's not valid otherwise. So I send it to the creditor signs everything, they'll notarize it, they'll send it back to me. Guess what often happens? They send it back with $1. It's the funniest thing in the world. They send it back to me with $1 because they want the deal to be valid, and they see that it says $1 in there, and they think that they're the ones that have to pay the $1, and they end up paying me $1. So a lot of times I'll make this $5,000, and I have no money out of my pocket. I don't even have to pay the $1. Matter of fact, I made $1 before I ever moved forward to see what would happen. Now, how sweet a deal is that when the creditors pay you money to see if you can make money on this deal? I mean, that's pretty sweet. And that actually is what happens a lot in this business. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Let's talk about the most asked question I get. That is, Mike, what's the fastest and easiest way to get started? And you know what? That comes up to secret number 2 which deals with outsourcing. Now, secret number 2, outsourcing, this is essentially where you find somebody else to do the majority of the work so that you don't have to do the things that you don't want to do. So let's break this down actually into 3 steps, what I call my 3 steps to massive wealth in working with outsourcing, okay? So you want to write these down. Step number 1 is you're going to find the judgment. Step number 2 is you're going to flip the judgment. You flip it over to us because we like to work on these, all right? That's one of the reasons why I want to do this training is to encourage you all to go ahead and send me a deal. And step number 3 is you simply forget it and you get paid. So it's what's called the 3 F's. You find it, you flip it, and you forget it and you get paid. So step number 1, there's lots of ways of finding judgments. One, you could simply go online. Matter of fact, I've made a little video. So this is about a 2-minute video. So I want you all to watch this video and let's see what we have here, okay? So watch this.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and find judgments online here using several different websites. So the first thing we're going to go here, we're going to come over on the right-hand side, just click on Public Records. And now when you're on Public Records, it's going to pull up a map of the United States, and we can choose any state that we want here. For easy's sake, we'll just go ahead and click on Arizona. And in Arizona, you can see there's several different counties that you can pick from. Let's just go ahead and pick Maricopa County. And there's going to provide 3 different accesses here for data online, the assessor, the recorder, and the treasurer. First, we'll take a look at the actual recorder. Now, when we get onto the recorder's page, just come down to Document Code. We're going to look for judgment, general types, including civil. We'll want to search by a certain date range. Like, it needs to be at least 2 years old. So let's just do 6/28/2007, and then we'll do just a 3-day period, 6/31/2007. I do like to do shorter periods, and it makes it easier for me to actually locate ones because there's going to be a fewer number of results. So let's just pick one of these. As we see, look at the actual judgment over here on the right-hand side. This has 3 pages. We can see here that this judgment for Cecilia, the judgment is actually only $3,913, so that's too little. So we'll go ahead and close that out. We want it to be at least $10,000. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This judgment, okay, is for Robert, and the debtor here, or the creditor here, is Sean. Okay, let's take a look at how much this is actually for. Okay, looks like this one's actually for $181,000, so that's a very big judgment, could be a very big payday.
Now, did you guys catch that? We're just simply going online. We have access to the individual judgments, right? We go look at the judgments. We see how much they are, and we find one for, there was one for $3,000, which had, I think it was 25% interest, no, excuse me, 27% interest. That's just crazy amounts. And this other one here for $181,000. And that was just, we got a whole bunch of judgments within just a 3-day time span in one little county. Now, you could expand that out. You can search for the whole year. There's literally millions upon millions upon millions of judgments that are out there that you could work on and make money from. So that was step number 1. You can simply find them online. You could buy mailing lists of stuff. You could go to the courthouse. Matter of fact, I teach 15 different ways, guys, of finding judgments and making it very, very easy for you. And we just covered a couple of them here. So step number 2 is you fax the deal to our office, or you flip the deal, I should say. So step number 2, flip the deal, and that's simply take the documentation you found, fax it to our office, follow some very basic instructions, and fill out a couple of simple forms so that we can actually take over from there. And then step 3 is really easy. This is where I think everybody else likes, is you forget about it and you get paid. Now, here's how it actually works. We work on behalf of the creditor. So you send the deal in to us. We will contact the creditor. And we will, now here are a couple guidelines. We want you to look for judgments that are at least $10,000 or more in value where the debtor owns property. And we will pay you 25% of whatever we make. So what happens is we actually contact that creditor. And by the way, some of you know I already have a home study course on this, and you know I do have one which actually shows you how to do every step of this. So if some of you are in the mindset that you say, you know, Mike, I don't want to send a deal to you, well, guess what? You don't have to. We'll actually teach you how to do every part of this, so you don't have to send anything to us. You could keep all the money yourself. But most of you want to be in the mindset that say, Mike, I don't want to do any of this. I just want to let my fingers do the walking. I want to find the deal. I want to send it over to you. You guys go out and collect on the judgment. And here's how it actually works, guys. We will actually contact that creditor. We'll get the judgment assigned over to us. There's a couple documents we have to send to them. And then we farm that judgment out to our attorney network. Now, our attorney network, we have 105 different lawyers that we work with. And our attorneys are going to go out and they're going to actually collect on the judgment using whatever we teach them. Now, I teach 25 different ways to get paid on the judgment. And they collect on the judgment, they collect the money, and they send it back to us, in which case we're then going to pay you 25% of whatever we make. Keep in mind that we're paying the attorney, we're paying the creditors, we're paying everybody. So let's kind of break this down. Let me show you how the numbers actually play out. So let's say that we go, there we go. So we take that judgment, right, that one that we just saw for $181,000, fair market value $181,000. We contact the creditor. We're going to collect the judgment on behalf of the creditor on something that's called a contingency fee basis, meaning that we're not going to buy that judgment up front. We're actually going to collect on it, and then we're going to split it with that creditor 50-50. So the creditor is going to get 50%, or they get half of that $181,000, which is, in this case, $90,500, and we get the other 50%. So us, that's me, we get the other 50%, and you, our affiliate, you get 25% of whatever we make. So if we made $90,500, you get 25% of that, which means you just now made a check for $22,625. And what did you do in order to make that check? Well, you went out, you did a little bit of research, you let your fingers do the walking on your keyboard, you did some research online, or you went to the courthouse, you did any number of the 15 ways of finding judgments. You found a judgment, you sent it over to our office, and because step one, right, you find it, step two, you flip it, and step three is you forget it and you get paid. So you found the judgment, you flipped it to our office, and you forgot it and you got paid because we then go out and we farm it out to our attorneys and we actually collect on the judgment. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, my gosh, man, this $22,000, that sounds like a great deal, but, man, this just sounds too easy. There's got to be a catch. And you know what, guys? Usually when you hear things that sound way too good to be true, there's usually a catch, right? And in this case, there is a catch. And so I want to explain the catch because, I want to be really clear here that you understand that I am the middleman. I am not the person. So if you send a judgment to me, I am not the person who's actually going to go and fill out the paperwork with the courthouse and actually collect on the judgment. We farm it out to our attorneys. So that makes me a middleman, right? You send it to me, I'm the guy, and I farm it out to the attorneys. I just know how to work with the attorneys, and that's ultimately what I'm getting paid for is I'm this paper shuffler in the middle. You're the researchers. You find the deal to us, and we send it over to the attorneys. Now, here's the catch. The catch is most of you would agree that attorneys are not very fast. In fact, they're really kind of slow. They want to be very methodical about what they do. They need to make sure the paperwork is done correctly, and they're not in a hurry to get things done. So the attorneys, in this case, are going to take between 6 and 9 months in order to collect on this judgment. And that's okay. Let me ask you this question. Would any of you be willing to wait 6 to 9 months to get a check for $22,625 if all you did was just do some basic research? Would you be willing to wait? Could you put a couple of these deals into the pipeline and just start making them happen where you're getting paid on these deals and they start, about 6 months down the road? Sometimes they pay off earlier. We've had deals that paid off in 30 days. But you know what? I'm being realistic here. I'm not trying to give you the pie in the sky kind of stuff. I'm just trying to tell you the real truth because I don't want you to think something else. And typically it's 6 to 9 months, but you'll get a check for $22,625 because you did a little bit of research. Is that worthwhile? And keep in mind, you could still go back and do all of those options, that $1 option agreement on all of those deals, all of the other property that's currently for sale or under contract. You option all of those judgments, so you're making cash there and you're putting deals in your pipeline by sending deals to us where you do the find it, flip it, you forget it, and you get paid. And you know what, guys? I understand that some of you get a little bit nervous sending a deal in and you're trying to figure out, well, gosh, Mike, I got to wait 6 to 9 months. What's going on? You know what? We allow you to check the status of your deals online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year using something that's called your affiliate ID number. So write that down. This is actually important. Your affiliate ID number is a number that is unique to you only. No one else in the entire world has it. It's a long-digit number, but it's unique only to you. So that every time you send a deal into our office that you want us to go ahead and collect on with these creditors, guess what? It gets assigned to your affiliate ID number, so no one else can ever take that deal. And then when we collect on that judgment, you get paid. But here's the thing. You can go online and you find out, well, where is it? Has Mike contacted the creditor? Yes, we have. Are they waiting paperwork back? Yes, we are. Have we sent it to the attorneys? Yes, we have. What are they doing? Are they garnishing wages? Are they taking a bank account? Are they foreclosing on the house? Which, by the way, are three techniques that you can use. So you can seize the wages, you can take a bank account, you could actually foreclose on a person's house even if they're not current. There are lots of things here that you can do to collect on a judgment, and we have our attorneys do all of that. And you can find out the status of those deals anytime. And I would like to think that most of you are in the mindset that you'd feel a lot more comfortable if you knew what the status was of your judgments so that you could check them online and you find out literally within just a couple of seconds what is the status of that judgment so you know what's going on so you can predict actually when you're actually going to get paid here. And so that's why we make it available to you online. Let me, I want to go a step further, and I want to share another secret with you. And this was what I call secret number 3. Secret number 3 is using the Internet. So here's a question I want to ask you. Who wants to make an extra $1,000 to $2,000 per month by doing nothing more than looking or listening for certain key pieces of information? In other words, would you go out there and look or listen for things? If I paid you an extra $1,000 or $2,000 every month just to do a little bit of looking, and I'm not asking you to take any money out of your pocket or do any of that, would you be interested? Well, guess what, guys? I am interested in buying judgments. Because if you start to think about what we're dealing with here, I want to buy these things because the rates of return that I can make on my money when we buy them, and I will just give you a hint on this, is that typically you're going to make 100% per year on your money for whatever you invest on buying a judgment lien that's attached to property where they cannot sell or refinance it without paying you off. Making 100%, and it can be done inside of an IRA. So think about that. I really want to buy these things, and I'm not necessarily looking for them to pay off right away. I'm looking for that rate of return because if I can make 100% on my money because of the discounts of what I'm buying it at, guess what? I want to buy as many of those things as we can. So here are the guidelines of what I'm looking for. I need you to write this down. If you want to make a couple grand a month by simply looking for judgments and sending them over to me, we'll pay you. In other words, I'll literally, I guess we'll call it straight up, is that, we'll buy that judgment from you. Or bribe you, I should say, to find the judgment. So you look for a judgment, $10,000 or more, where the debtor owns property. Still looks the same, right? Just like what you were doing before. We will contact the creditor, and we'll say to the creditor, Mr. Creditor, would you like to sell that judgment and get cash for it? And what do you think almost every judgment creditor, because keep in mind, 85% or more of all the judgments that are out there have not been paid or satisfied. So what do you think that creditor is going to say when I offer them cash? They're going to say, sure, they'd like to get cash. And as soon as we buy the judgment, not when we collect it, okay, so this is really important. As soon as we buy that judgment, guess what? We pay you $1,000 for every single one of them that we buy. Now, we may or may not try to go out there and force to pay off of that judgment. If it's a decent judgment, we'll probably let it sit there, and we'll get our 100% per year on our money that we invested. And you still made your $1,000, and you don't have to worry about what we do with it after that. You got paid right up front. And that could get you cash literally in under 30 days here. So for those of you that need cash quickly, this is a great technique to use, as well as the option technique. Keep in mind, though, if you send a deal to us and we do it on contingency, all right, that's going to take a little bit of time. Now, I know some of you are our little doubters, right, our little naysayers like, well, Mike, what if we don't buy the judgment? Okay, well, let's actually talk about that. Let's bring it out in the open here. We're actually, if we can't buy the judgment, we're going to contact the creditor. We essentially transition the creditor from a purchase method into what we call our contingency method. So if they wouldn't sell it to us at our 5 to 10 cents on the dollar, we will actually transition them into a 50-50 contingency method. So after we've made somebody an offer at 5 or 10 cents on the dollar, and they say no, do you think all of a sudden 50% sounds a whole lot better? Yeah, it does. And we get almost all of those, even the ones who say they won't sell, we get almost all of them to go ahead and do the contingency. So we'll get a contingency agreement with the creditor. We farm it out to our attorney, so our attorney is actually going to do all the work. We keep 50% or more of the amount that we collect now, right? Now we're back into this outsourcing model that we talked about before. You still make 25% of whatever we make, and allows you to make several $1,000s a month without spending any money, doing any of the recovery, or talking with anyone. So if you don't feel comfortable ever picking up the phone and talking to anybody, guess what? You don't have to. It's not a big deal. We will do all of that for you. You simply find the deal, send it over to us, and let us call the creditor and see if they want to sell. Now, some of you may say, well, my gosh, I don't want $1,000 on that $181,000 judgment. You might be saying, Mike, I want you to do that one on contingency. And guess what, guys? we let you pick and choose which way you want us to go. So you may say on these smaller judgments that are $10,000, you say, Mike, go ahead and buy that one, pay me $1,000. I'm happy to do that. And on the larger ones like that $181,000, you say, Mike, I don't want you to buy that because I'll make a lot more money. I'm willing to wait 6 to 9 months. You go ahead and collect on that judgment, and let's do that one on contingency. Not a problem. I will approach the creditor whichever way you want me to do it, and then, of course, you can check the status online 24 hours a day to find out where we are with that judgment. Does that sound pretty fair? And keep in mind, you're going to track your judgments using your affiliate ID number, so that judgment is unique to you only. And let me actually do this. I want you to watch. I got another little video here I want you to watch. This is Victor Howard. I want you to watch this.
You can work on the referral method, and what that is you just collecting the information about the judgment, and then you send that to Michael Warren, and then he does the work, and you get paid a commission on that. It's a lot less work on my part, and the money's pretty good. It's not as good, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to work some referrals, get some quick money enough that I can quit my job, and then I'll have the time freed up that I need to be able to work the business on a larger scale, which is great. Now I can just do it any time on the internet, do the whole thing from there. You know, I'm one of those guys who will try every financial opportunity. You know, I've tried network marketing and envelope stuffing and direct mailing and website affiliate. I mean, I'm that guy who's tried all of those things. And, you know, I finally found one that I'm actually going to stick with. It really works.
Victor, what he does is he simply finds a judgment. He does his research online. He sends it over to us. He lets us do contingency, or in some cases we'll make an offer to buy the judgment. So we're either paying him $1,000 for each one that we buy, or we're collecting on it, and he gets 25% of whatever we make. Either way, he's making money. He's just putting deals in the funnel while he works a regular job, and this makes him happy as you can believe, or because he's just ecstatic because he doesn't have to do it. Now, granted, he could make more money if he did the options. I will tell you outright, working the option method, the option technique, that actually will get you the most cash in the fastest period of time. And in fact, let's actually take a review of what we've been talking about so far. So far, we've been talking about the option agreement, right? My $1 option technique, where you really have no risk in the deals that you're working on. And by the way, that is the most popular. That's where our most successful students, they do options, and they look for properties that are for sale or under contract, whether it's residential, commercial, or even a short sale or a regular foreclosure. They'll go and they'll option those judgments. They sit back and they wait to see what happens. If it looks like the judgment's going to pay off, they exercise their option. If it doesn't pay off, guess what? They walk away, and how much did they lose? They lost $1, assuming they actually paid the dollar. Now, keep in mind, you may remember I said a lot of times the creditor sent us the dollar, and you can walk away anytime you want to. The second thing we talked about was outsourcing, where we essentially do all the work, and you get paid 25% of whatever we make. And then the third thing I talked about was using the power of the Internet, where we'll actually buy those judgments that you find, and we'll pay you instant cash, so we'll pay you $1,000 as soon as we buy the judgment. Now think about that. Which way would you like to go? Are you interested in doing options for $1, where you keep all the profit and you have no risk? Are you interested in essentially outsourcing the deal to us, letting us collect on it, and you get paid 25% of whatever we make? Or are you interested in sending a deal and saying, Mike, try to buy this one and pay me $1,000, and if you can't buy it, then go ahead and do it on contingency, and I'll take the 25% then. Which way are you all interested in going? And some of you can go ahead and just type in the question box and just tell me which way you'd like to go. And wow, I see a bunch of you saying option, flipping, continuing. So everybody's kind of like all over the place, which is cool. And guys, let me tell you actually how you can actually do this, and you can get started literally this week on it. I've got essentially about 6 hours more of training, and I just covered the surface. I just broke the surface here of what you need in order to make money in this business. But I've actually got 6 hours of additional training, audio, video, and membership support, all sorts of things. And I broke it down into a specific step-by-step cookie-cutter approach. And what I cover actually is 25 different ways of getting paid on a judgment. I show you 15 ways of finding judgments, and I show you 13 ways to locate the debtor and all of the debtor's assets for those of you that are interested in actually collecting on the judgment yourself. If you're not interested in collecting on the judgment yourself, that's fine. All you're really going to focus on really is this one right here, the 15 different ways to locate judgment. Now, that home study course itself is called the Judgment and Lien Money Machine. Now, it's a $2,000 course, and you know what, guys? I'm going to add in so much stuff here. You're absolutely going to love it. In fact, I'm going to give you over $8,000 in free education here in just a minute. So I want you to really stay on the line all the way to the end and watch what I'm about to do. So the home study course has a whole lot of different things. The first thing I want to talk about is what's called this first book right here. It's got 3 books in it. This one's called the Quick Start Flipping Guide. Now, the Quick Start Flipping Guide, this is what Victor Howard uses. Remember Victor? Victor is the guy that just wants to flip deals to us. Well, guys, that's what he uses. It's all about if you find a judgment, well, first off, where do you find them, how do you do it, what paperwork we're looking for, and then how to flip it to our office so we can either give you cash or do it on contingency. That's what that one's about. And it also covers the option technique. So how do you find these judgments and how do you auction? That's for people who they just want to be in and out of these deals, lickety split, and they're making your money and you're moving on to the next deal. So no stress, no fuss about it, and you're just making cash. The second volume, that's this one here, this is called the Marketing and Forms Kit. Now this has all of the different option agreements, has our assignment agreements, has our letters that we market with creditors. It talks about how do you find them, what websites we use. We talk about all of that stuff inside the Marketing and Forms Kit. And this third book is actually the Do-It-Yourself Guide. For those of you who say, well, Mike, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm a little greedy, Mike. I'm not sharing any deals with you. I'm not going to give you any money. I'm going to do it all myself, and I want to learn how to do it all myself. So not only do you want to do options, but you also want to do contingency on your own. And some of you may even want to buy some of these deals for your own IRA, and guess what? We show you how to do all that. So I don't leave anything out here. I don't just say, oh, well, you know, I only want you to send deals to me so that Mike makes money. You know what? No, I give you every aspect of the business so that you could do it all. Now, you may not want to do that in the beginning, and that's fine, but somewhere down the road, you may decide, you know what, I do want to actually do some of this, and we actually help you along with that. The other thing is I've taken the entire course, and I put it actually on 6 audio CDs. Now, some of you look or you will learn better by listening to audios, and some of you do better by reading. Depending upon which way you go, I've made it really easy so that you can absorb all of the information very, very quickly. And I also have something here. It's called, in this one, and I don't know if you can see it with my arrow there. Hopefully you can. It's in white. That CD is called Listen to Me First. Now, that CD, that's actually a coaching call with me and some of my students where I actually break it down and say, well, how do you want to focus your time based on your energy, your resources, what you want to do, and how much money you need and how fast you need. You know, do you need money literally within 7 to 10 days, or could you wait a couple of months? Well, based on however or how fast you need money, it determines what technique you may want to use. So I actually break it down. We'll talk about the option agreement. We'll talk about contingency. We'll talk about buying judgments. We'll talk about flipping. We'll talk about all of that to help you figure out where you should focus your time. I also include a forms and documents CD so that you can actually have all the different documents, the letters, our marketing pieces, everything is already there for you so that you don't have to make up anything. It's already right there. And I'll cover a couple other things that are included here in just a second. Next thing I want to include is what's called my Inner Circle Coaching Club. Now, here we actually give you unlimited email and fax coaching, help with forms and documents. We give you access where we do coaching calls every month. Matter of fact, we're doing training webinars. We do them twice a month. You'll also have access to a members area online. So we have additional videos. We have a lot of bonus training materials broken down into an easy-to-absorb format, and it's all done by video, so you can watch it at your leisure 24 hours a day and learn all these different aspects of the business. And I also will include my multiple income streams newsletter and conference call for 30 days, so you get to be part of my members area and gain access to everything. So we actually talk not only about judgments, but we talk about how do you buy defaulted notes, for instance, from a bank, how do you buy pools of notes, how do you do loan modifications, deed in lieu, how to do short sales, inter market. I cover all of those things in that newsletter. It's a very powerful and content-rich newsletter that you get every single month. Now, I want to include a bunch of bonuses. First bonus I want to include is a training DVD on how to use the Internet. Now, what this is actually a DVD, and what our most successful students do is they take this DVD, they pop it into their computer. They press play, and they watch the DVD for about 10 minutes. They press pause, and they go and open up an Internet browser, and they go do what they just watched. Now, you all saw in that little video where we had that $181,000 judgment, you saw just how easy it is to find these judgments. Well, guess what? We break it down step by step by step by step. Not only how do you figure out whether or not a particular county is online, but how do you access the county, what documents are we looking for, how do we verify the information is correct, so that when we're all the way done with that video, which is about a little over an hour long, when you're done with that video, You know how to find these judgments, and they are a piece of cake to find them, guys. This is not difficult at all. So that's a $997 value. And the next best thing to being able to sit in my office, look over my shoulder as I do that, and actually show you how to find these judgments. But then you got to remember, well, with the DVD, if you don't remember something, you can back up the DVD and watch it again until you actually learn the entire concept, which is very, very powerful. I want to include another bonus, what I call special bonus number 2. Now, special bonus number 2 is how to use options to put cash in your pocket in as little as 7 days. Now, this is a DVD that's been taken out of my $5,000 boot camp, guys, where I actually show you how to work with the options. In other words, when you contact the creditor, what do you say to the creditor to get them to allow you to do the option? What paperwork's involved? How do you fill it out? How do you work with a title company to make sure you get paid? There's lots of little steps here that if you try to figure this out on your own, I suppose that you probably could, because I certainly did. But you know what? It took me years to figure this stuff out, and I don't know if you want to spend years of your time to figure it out and maybe lose thousands of dollars messing it up, or you just follow what I show you, and this stuff actually works. So we actually show you how to get paid on judgments in your pocket in literally as little as 7 days. So think about that. For some of you who need cash and you need it within the next week, certainly, or 2 weeks, guess what? We show you how to find these judgments, how to get paid in literally as little as 7 days. Very, very powerful. Now, I also want to include something that's called super bonus number 3. What this is, here we go, my multiple income stream 3-day boot camp. This is a $4,000 boot camp all by itself. And when you get the home study course, the Judgment Lien Money Machine course today, and you do that, I'm going to include a certificate that looks like this. Now, this certificate entitles you to come to the boot camp. And, well, actually, you know what? Actually, let me change that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to come to the boot camp, not only you, but I'm going to allow you to bring your spouse or significant other, and I'm going to allow you to bring a business partner. So this certificate will be good for 3 people to attend a live event where I'll actually talk about judgments. And, well, actually, let me show you what's covered at the live event. So the live event, we'll talk about creating cash flows using loan modifications, deed in lieu, how to get paid by the bank to get them houses. We'll show you how to use options to get paid on those judgments. So I'm going to go into detail how to get paid in 7 days or less. We're going to show you how to buy defaulted pools of notes or REOs from the banks. We're going to show you how to find the banks, where to get the money. We'll show you how to do all that. So show you how to use social media to generate leads for buyers, sellers, private money, whatever it is that you need. And we're also going to talk about something called corporate debt settlement. We'll be talking about all of that. So we've included a whole lot of stuff here for you, but here's a problem. And we're only going to limit it down to 18 people because I only want serious action takers who are really, they're just serious about this business, and they know exactly what they want. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to receive the judgment course, that's $19.95, the Internet Research DVD, that's $9.95, the Options Training DVD, that's $9.95, the live coaching, the live boot camp, that's $39.95, but keep in mind that's for 3 people, and so really that's a $12,000 value all by itself, and the right to flip deals, all that's priceless, and guess what, guys? That's normally $16,000 right there with all of the things that I've included in there, but we're not going to do that. I'm sure you all knew that I was going to make some kind of a special offer, and you know what? You're absolutely right. It's not $16,000. For the people who go down the website that you see down there at the bottom, for today, and today only for the first 18 people, it is only $9.95. Now, I know some of you are thinking, man, that's a great deal, and some of you are rushing right over there to get it right now while those 18 spots are available, and I really encourage you to do that, to grab those first few spots. Well, you know what? Actually, you know what? Let me add in a couple other things here. How many of you would be interested in getting the entire course if I could show you how to get everything for free? Would you be interested in doing that? Would you get it then? I'm sure some of you are like, yeah, I'll do it then. Oh, what do I have to do? And you know what? Here's how it actually works. Let me break this down. Show you how to get everything for free. First thing you do, guys, is you go out and then you find one judgment. You flip it to Mike, that's me, okay, that I'm able to purchase. I will give you a rebate of your $9.95 back, plus I'll still pay you the $1,000 referral fee. So you find a judgment that I'm able to buy, right? It's $10,000 or more. Send a deal over to me. You don't have to contact the creditor. You don't have to do anything. You send the deal over to me. I contact the creditor. As soon as the creditor says, yes, they're willing to sell, I'll pay you back your $9.95, plus I'll pay you the $1,000. So you get all of your money back plus $1,000 right off the bat. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different. You know what, guys? Instead of this $1,000, I'm going to do something different right now. And what I'm going to do is this. For those of you that go ahead and get started today, the first 18 people, you find a deal, you send it over to me. Not only will I give you the $9.95 back, but I'm going to now pay you, instead of $1,000, I'll pay you $2,000 for every single judgment they send to me. So in other words, on your first deal, I'll give you your money back plus $2,000, and then for every deal thereafter, I'll pay you a $2,000 finder's fee. So think about that. On the first deal, you get all your money back plus $2,000, and then for every deal thereafter, I'll pay you a $2,000 finder's fee. There's also a different way for you to make your money back. So the second way to make your money back is you essentially find a judgment that you can flip over to me that we can work on contingency. So even if the creditor won't sell it to us, remember, we'll still do it on contingency, we will give you back all of your $995, plus we'll still pay you the 25%. So you get all of your money back on a contingency plus the $995. Now, how about that? I mean, I'm literally taking all of the risk here to help you get started with it. And what I ask, actually, you know what? Just to make sure and make everybody really, really comfortable, I also want to add this. I also want to add a money-back guarantee, 100% money-back guarantee. Guys, it works like this. It's really simple. You go ahead and get the course. Okay, I know you're going to absolutely love it. Go ahead and get the course. And if you don't like it, you try out the course. Now, don't get it and just put it up on the shelf, okay? I want you to get the course, try it out, and if you don't like it, you know what? Send it back. I don't want you to be mad at me and badmouth me on the internet and do anything like that. I want you to get the course and use it and make money using either options or do it on flipping the deals over to us for contingency or flipping them to us and let us pay you cash for them. Try out the program. If you don't like it, send it back. Also want to include good luck and God bless. And guys, you have to take massive action.
And the way that you do that is go to the website that you see down here at the bottom. So what you need to do is on that website, just go. All you have to do is put down a good faith deposit, $995, go out and find one judgment lien that I can buy, and at the closing table, I'll end up giving you back all of your $995 deposit plus your $2,000 finder's fee. So that website is www.reisecrets.com/offer, so reisecrets.com/offer, or you could also call 888-298-6345. That number one more time is 888-298-6345. And keep in mind, everyone, that's just for the next 18 people who jump on this deal right now. So, you know, Stacy, I know I covered a lot of very powerful stuff here, and I'm sure those 18 spots are going to go fast since this is an amazing offer that's just not available anywhere else.
Absolutely. They are going to go fast. In fact, we've already got people jumping on board this, Mike, because, man, that's an incredible offer. Why wouldn't they? And I don't normally like to interrupt during the presentation, but I just wanted to jump in and tell my people, take action now. This is an absolutely unbelievable, no-brainer offer. Get over to reisecrets.com/offer right now, or you can give us a call at 888-298-6345. And like I said, Mike, we've already got some people jumping on board. They're on my training session every week, and they know how to get the order. And I want to say congratulations to Tim in New Orleans. Tim, congratulations. Mike's looking forward to working with you. We got Sally in L.A. Congratulations, Sally. We've got George in Phoenix. Congratulations, George. We got Wally in Miami and Kelly in Denver. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people right there. 5 of the 18 spots are already gone.
Wow, that's pretty
awesome,
good.
Man.
That is really
welcome
good.
Aboard. Yeah, welcome aboard, everyone. Mike's looking forward to working with it. Hey, Mike, we've had some questions that have come in during the call. You have a little extra time to tackle some of these questions?
Yeah, sure, Stacy. You know, I really do love helping people any way I can. If I can point them in the right direction that gets them making money quickly, then that's absolutely what I want to do. So, sure, what do you got?
All right, cool. Well, here's a question from Sharon, and she writes in and says, Mike, in your opinion, do people who make money the fastest, do they do options or are they buying judgments?
Sharon, that's a great question, and rather than just giving you a short answer, let me explain a little bit more detail, not only for you, but everybody else that's also listening with this. And you may remember that I like to buy judgments, and when I buy these judgments, I'm typically making 100% on my money per year by letting that judgment sit there attached to the debtor's property, residential or commercial, where they cannot sell it or refinance it without paying me off. So I'm making this great rate of return. Now, my most successful students who say, Mike, we want to make money. We want to do it a couple weeks to 30, 45 days. It depends on how fast they want to get going, but they want to make it quickly. What they're doing, Sharon, is they're going out and they're optioning judgments. So what they do is they use that item number 2 on your screen there, that Internet Research DVD. They go out and they find judgments, and they use that option number 3, or the item number 3 there on your screen, the options training DVD, and so they use that to figure out what paperwork to use, how to talk to the creditor, how to tie the entire deal up. So they go out and they look ultimately for properties that are currently for sale or under contract anywhere in America. They then look to see if there are any judgments attached to that property. They option the right to buy that judgment at a discounted amount from the creditor, and when the property sells to whoever is buying it, not you, Sharon, okay? Somebody else is buying the property. So when that property sells, well, the judgment's going to get paid off, and you keep the difference between what it pays off at and what you option to buy the judgment for. That difference is your profit, and all of that paperwork, Sharon, is handled by the title company. So the fastest way, really, Sharon, to get started is to use the option technique, the $1 option technique that I talked about, and go out and find those judgments and option them. I mean, Stacy, what do you think about that? You think that's a good way for somebody to get started to reduce their risk and reduce their financial outlay and do this by just putting up $1 and optioning these deals?
I think that's a fantastic way because, as you and I both know, if you don't put any money at risk, you can't lose any money. So if all you have at risk is $1, then all you can lose is $1.
There you go.
It's a fantastic way to get started. Absolutely. All right, cool. We've got a few more questions that came in, but we also had a few more orders, Mike. We see say hello to Donnie from Orlando. You're going to be working with Donnie. Wayne from Dallas. Congrats, Wayne. And Lorraine from Florida. Congratulations, guys. You're going to be working with Mike. Way to get on board. Way to see an opportunity and jump on board. The rest of you quit waiting around. What is that? We're up to 8. So 8 of the 18 spots are gone. There are only 10 left. So get your order in right now. Go to reisecrets.com/offer or give us a call at 888-298-6345. And you don't have to call in to ask us if you were one of the first 18. The website is specifically coded. Don't ask me how my webmaster does it, but once all 18 spots are gone, you'll see a pop-up that says, sorry, the 18 spots are taken, and you're number 19 or whatever it says. So if you don't see that pop-up, you don't have to call in and take up a phone line because you could be blocking someone out from getting their order in, okay? So, and by far and away, the fastest way to get your order in is to do it online anyway, so just go to reisecrets.com/offer right now. Mike, we've got another question here from Jose, and he writes in and he says, if we send, I like this line. He says, if we send a deal to you to buy, how fast can I get paid? Nice. I like the way he's thinking.
I like the way he's thinking, too. So, Jose, wait, great question. Thanks for asking the question, because when you and other people ask that question, that means you're sending a deal to me, which means I'm making money, too. So you and I essentially kind of become partners in this thing, and ultimately you're doing some research, okay? So let me explain how fast this works. Is you use that item number 2, the Internet Research DVD. You go out and you find judgments. You then take that information, you send it to my office. At that point, Jose, your job is done. You don't have to do anything else. We're now going to pick up the phone and we're going to call the creditor. We're going to say, hey, Mr. Creditor, would you like to get cash for that judgment? At the point of when the creditor says yes, that's when the clock actually starts to tick, Jose. And what happens is we now have about 10 to 14 days to go. The reason it's 10 to 14 days, I'll explain it here in just a second, is as soon as the creditor says yes, they want to sell the judgment, well, we pick up another phone and we call a title company and we say, hey, Mr. Title Company, please do research on this judgment. Make sure that we got a good judgment, we got the right debtor, we got their property, that it's attached to property, handle all the paperwork, make sure everything's done. So the title company, Jose, takes a little bit of time in order to get everything done right because they want to make sure it's all done right. And at the closing table, Jose, the title company is going to cut 2 checks. Now, the first check they're going to cut is to the creditor for however much we agreed to buy the judgment for. Now, the second check, Jose, this is important to you and to everybody else that's listening. The second check is going to go to you for all of your $9.95 back plus your $2,000 finder's fee on your very first deal, and then a $2,000 finder's fee on every deal thereafter. So on your first deal, you get all of your money back plus $2,000, so you're ahead of the game by $2,000, and then for every deal thereafter, we'll still pay you that $2,000 finder's fee. And hey, Stacy, let me just ask you this question: do you think that's a good way for people to get started? Is that they can just send a deal to me? They understand that I'm making the majority of the profit on this deal because they send it to me. I'm making the majority of it, but I'll still give them all their money back plus $2,000 just for finding the deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because now all they have to do is they don't have anything at risk. They just have to go find the deal. They just have to go be your bird dog and find you a good deal. Let you do it. Look over your shoulder. Basically, you're letting them look over your shoulder and holding their hand at the exact same time, and then they get paid for that, and then they get the knowledge and the self-confidence that comes along with knowing, hey, this actually works. I just made some money doing it, and then they can choose to do the next deal on their own if they want to, or they can just go ahead and do the next deal with you. Either way, it's a win-win-win.
I've got the different ways. Now, I don't force anybody, Stacy, just to clarify, I don't force anyone to send a deal to me. They can if they want to, and I would love it if they did. But, you know, when I talk about the option technique, they can do all that the entire deal on their own, and they can cut out the middleman, which is me, but they could cut me out of the deal and keep all the profit themselves. Or if they, you know, if they want to be lazy, they just send it to me and I'll take over.
There you go. And and it's also it's a way to get paid to be lazy. Are you kidding me? Who doesn't like that? Then you can just go on vacation like Mike does all the time. And it's clearly resonating with people, Mike, because I want to say congratulations to Sam from North Carolina. We've got Bob. Bob from Oregon is on board. We've got Jan from Oklahoma and Steve from Tennessee. They're all on board. So welcome to the program, guys. Welcome, and Mike's looking forward to working with you. What are we? I haven't counted them all. I think we were 8 last time, so that puts us at like 12. So 12 of the 18 spots are gone already. That's how much this is resonating with people. So get off the phone right now. Well, you still listen to us. You don't have to. But go to the website right now. Go to the website at reisecrets.com/offer. That's reisecrets.com/offer. Or you can give us a call at 888-298-6345. But it's faster to do it on the website. Let's see. I've got another question here. You got time for another question, Mike?
Yeah, sure. Not a problem.
All right, cool. Let's see. All right, we've got a question here. What if my county is not online? How do I find judgments?
That's a great question. And, you know, when I first started back in the 80s, it's a long time ago, though, when I first started, and yeah, I know it's a long time. I'm dating myself. This is horrible. When I first started, though, you know, computers weren't online. You know, and so I had to do everything manually, going down to the physical courthouse and looking at records, of which, you know, you could do that too if you wanted to. But you know what? There are 3,300 counties in the United States, and what I really recommend that you do, and this is what my most successful students do, is they use that Internet Research DVD. They pop it in their computer, and they press play, and they watch, oh, here's how I find out whether or not my county is online, and oh, here's how I access that county, and oh, here's how I find out all the information I need. So we actually show you how to do that in that DVD. That's how powerful it is. And what's great about a DVD is that if you don't understand something, you just back it up and you watch it again and again and again until you actually get the concept. So really what my most successful students do is they take that DVD, they put it in their computer, they press play, they watch it for 10 minutes, they press pause, and then they go do what they just learned. Then they go back and forth until they've actually found judgments. Now, let me point to you a different way. We have people from all across the world who are finding deals here in the United States. So we have them in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in the Ukraine, in Mexico and Canada, and we now have one in Russia. So we have them in different countries who are finding deals. So if they can find them from another country and find them here in the U.S., I'm pretty sure that everyone on this call can find these deals here from one county to another. So don't get hung up on thinking that it has to be in your backyard. I mean, you're not buying any property. You're not buying these judgments anyway, so you don't really care where the deal is located. What you care about is where is there property that's currently for sale or under contract out there that you can option. That's what you really want to focus on. Somewhere in America, I'm sure you can find these deals. And we actually show you how to find all these deals, and that's what the DVD is all about. So don't worry about your county not being online. If it just happens to be one, just go find one that is, and you have access to the information. It's really that simple. What do you think about that, Stacy? Hello?
Oh, Mike, sorry about that. I accidentally muted myself. I didn't want to have any background noise while you were talking, and I started talking to you, and I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry about that. That's what.
No problem. I was wondering, like, oh man, I hope we didn't lose Stacy. It's like, oh, that's gonna be bad.
I'm here. I was talking away. I was like, no, Mike, I'm here, man. Can you hear me? That's what happens with when you go live. But I was saying, yeah, man, I love this. You know, I'm a big fan of being able to make money with real estate, with many different facets of real estate. You know, not just having to buy and sell a house, and that's because when you take the house out of it, you take a lot of the risk out of it as well. So you've taken the risk out of it. Plus, you're allowing them to do deals with you. They don't have to use any of their own money or their own credit. This is absolutely perfect, and is working right now in today's market environment. And not only that, it really is kind of a ground floor, because unfortunately, the financial hardships that a lot of people are experiencing aren't going to be ending anytime soon. And it's unfortunate that that's happening to them. But if you can help them and at the same time make a profit, then it's a win-win situation. And you can do it with Mike. You can hold his hand. You can look over his shoulder and let him show you where all of the potholes are. Again, Mike's been doing this for 20 years. He's a real estate veteran. He's been through 2 up markets and 2 down markets. He's seen it all. There's nothing you can throw at him that he hasn't seen 100 times before. So who better to have in your corner than somebody who's been doing this for 20 years? So I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing, Mike, and I really appreciate you sharing this valuable information with everyone today. And we've got a couple more orders that have come in. I want to congratulate Joe from Pittsburgh. And we've got Linda from Chicago. So welcome, guys. And I've lost count now. I think that's 14 or 15 of you. The 18 spots are already gone. So again, guys, get off the fence. Realize that this is absolutely a no-brainer. You're completely backed by the 30-day money-back guarantee. If it's not everything that Mike says that it is, then send it back. And we don't want your money if you're not satisfied. Get in there. Give it an honest shot for 30 days, and at the end of the 30 days, if it's not what Mike says it is for whatever reason, then just send it back and get your money back. So you've got absolutely nothing to gain and everything to lose. So get over to the website right now at reisecrets.com/offer. That's reisecrets.com/offer. I think you can see it there on your screen, or give us a call at 888-298-6345.
Hey, Stacy, can I make a correction on something real quick? You said something, I think you said it backwards, because you said you have nothing to gain and everything to lose. But I think you really meant to say you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I thought I'd just clarify that for people like, wait, what did he say?
You got nothing, you got absolutely nothing to gain. Don't tell that to the 14 people who have already signed up. My wife tells me I do that all the time. We've been together 22 years now, so she just knows. She just mentally flips it in her mind, so I apologize. You have everything to gain, and you've got nothing to lose. It's a no-brainer. And you've got to ask yourself, if your bank account doesn't have as much money in it as you would like it to have in it, then what are you going to change? You've got to change something. You can't just keep doing what you've been doing and expect to get a different result. If what you've been doing isn't taking you to where you want to be, then you're going to have to do something else. And who better to do that something else with than with Mike, a guy who's got 20 years of experience, hardcore in the trenches. He's been there. He's done that. He's willing to take you by the hand and show you exactly how to do this. And this is a ground floor opportunity. There aren't very many people out there doing this. You've got plenty of opportunity, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So, yeah, forgive me for misspeaking a while ago, but you have absolutely everything to gain and nothing to lose. Mike, there have been so many people who have jumped on this opportunity already. The 14 or so out of the 18 spots are already gone. I know I'm going to catch you off guard by asking you this, but so many people, and I can tell they're still on the call, there's so many people who are still listening to us. Do you mind speaking just to the people who have taken action today? Maybe give them a little mini mastermind or coaching session real quick? Sorry, I don't mean to catch you off the cuff like that.
I'm not going to say no now that you asked. So,
it makes you look kind of bad. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Well, actually, it sounds like fun. I think it can really be helpful to the folks that actually take action today. So, let me just take a few minutes in and talk to those folks who already took action by going to reisecrets.com/offer. So the rest of you can actually go ahead and jump off. We're actually done now, and I want to thank you all for listening, and I wish you all the very best. Now, to all of you who took action today, you all are in for a treat. As a partner in this process, I only make money when you make money. So it's in my best interest to get you trained as quickly as I possibly can. Now, it takes a little bit of time, just a couple of weeks. Some people do it in a few days. Some people even do it in a few hours. And we're constantly tweaking our training to make it better. So some of the training will be live, and some of it will be recorded sessions that you can watch at your leisure. And in either case, the trainings are all recorded so you have instant access to the materials on your schedule. Even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you have access. So I want you to watch your email for our next live coaching call. And remember, we do our live coaching call at least twice a week. So that's at least 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So we want to be able to point you in the right direction so that you are making money quickly as you possibly can. We want to point you in the right direction so that you're successful. So get on the live coaching call. And remember, you're not alone in this business. It's going to be fun. It's super profitable. And if you have questions, email us or get on the coaching call and we'll answer it live right there for you. So with that, I think it's time to kind of wrap things up here. And I really do want to welcome you all aboard, and this is truly a one-of-a-kind chance to get in on the ground floor, and you all made the right decision to be part of our team, and I do look forward to working with all of you. So, Stacy, I want to thank you again for having me on the call, and, Stacy, I'm very passionate about helping people make money by helping others, and this is a hidden trillion-dollar market that's a perfect solution. So, Stacy, I want to thank you again, and thanks to everyone who spent time with us today.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you for taking time away from your vacation and joining us today. And I want to thank everyone who was on the training session today. Thank you so much, because whether you realize it or not, whether your bank account reflects this or not, you truly are one of the top 1%, because you could have been doing any number of things today with your time, and you were here with Mike and I, and you were learning new information. You were learning information that can change yours and your family's life, so you're a very special person, and Mike and I don't take that lightly. And we want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank everyone who took action and sees the value in what Mike offered today. Those 14 or 15 people who already took action, I know Mike is just like me. He enjoys working with those of you who take action the fastest, because those are where his superstars are going to come from. The people who see this for what it is, an amazing offer, fantastic value, for a ridiculously small investment in themselves, and they take action, and those are going to be where his next superstar students are going to come from, the people who take action the fastest. So congratulations to you. I know Mike is excited to work with you, and I know as soon as we hang up, Mike, I know there are going to be some more orders that are just going to flood in. There are people who are just waiting for us to stop talking, so we might as well start doing that. The 18 spots may actually be gone before the end of the day. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful information, man. It's been a great training session. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Stacy. Thanks for having me on the call today. I very, very much appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who spent time with us, because they could have done something different, but they spent it with us, and I don't take that for granted, and I won't take it for granted in the future either.
Absolutely. All right, Mike. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care.